Good evening, everybody, or morning, wherever you are. Welcome back to my channel. This is Dustin, back with another uh, deck tech or deck list. This is my fourth one. So at the end of my last Lord of Nazgul video, I said I was going to do my Kalia deck, but I kind of paused on that and really took a deep dive into my first commander deck that I really started to pimp out and work on upgrading, and that would be my zombie deck. So I had bought the Aether Drift zombie deck back at the beginning of the year, and really enjoyed the mechanic, and so I really started to soup that up. That was my really first strong deck that I built. Really put some money and time into it. Switched commanders from the Temet, I think was the commander, and switched to Varina Lich Queen. So Varina Lich Queen is 1 white, blue, black for a 4/4 legendary zombie wizard that says whenever you attack with one or more zombies, draw that many cards, discard that many cards, gain that much life. You also can tap 2, exile 2 cards from your graveyard to create a tap 2/2 black zombie creature token. So as I said, I started with the Aether Drift Commander Precon, the zombie one, and really worked on this deck. Then I got hooked up with Muldratha and Nekusar and Kalia and Lord of the Nazgul, and I built my wife's Dragon deck. And about 2 weeks ago, I was like, you know what? Let's go back and look at my zombie deck. I had like a Ristic Study and some other good cards in here, but just wasn't really flowing. So I spent about the past 2 weeks picking up cards, going through bulk, and ultimately I'm very comfortable where this deck is at. Done a couple play tests with it, and it's doing its thing. I think it's a fun, enjoyable deck. It's not too, in my opinion, it's not too, punishing. It's not going to put a lot of salt on your opponents. If you do end up with a win con, I think it's a fair win. I don't think it's a cheeky one, as it's not coming out of nowhere. I feel like the pieces will slowly but surely show up on the board, and your opponents will be able to kind of see it coming. Um, so we'll get started here. So Varina the Lich Queen, or Valina Witch Queen, she is the commander. So in this deck we have, I believe it's 33 lands. Hold on, let me just double check that number. Yeah, so we have 33 lands. We have 6 swamps. So 6 swamps, 3 plains, and 3 islands. As a lot of you, or some of you that have watched any of my videos may have noticed, I enjoy using all different lands from different printings and different versions. I don't know why, I just like the variety. So getting into the unique and or the utility and dual style lands, we have Rolling Quarry Tower, no maximum hand, taps for colorless. This is important because there are opportunities in this deck where you could really be drawing a ton of cards, and while discarding is okay, Varina and a couple other cards in this deck, you're going to have enough of an opportunity to discard to be able to take things out of your graveyard or exile to make other zombies. And I just find I don't want to use up all of my important artifacts or spells, having them get dumped in the graveyard. I want to try to limit that as much as I can. Again, Rolling Quarry Tower is one that maybe I'll come back to at a later date and decide I don't want in here, but I like it in here right now. We have Port Town. It's a reveal land. Hollowed Fountain, Shockland, Demir Aqueduct, Command Tower, Halimar Depths. I like this, even though it enters tapped. I think it's a great card. It's a great land because when it enters the battlefield, you look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them back in any order, and it taps for a blue. So it gives you the ability to kind of control your next 3 draws. So early game, let's say you pull this and you have only 1 other land in your hand. Maybe you can look and you get 2 lands coming up, organize them, or maybe you have no turn 2 play. Maybe Halimar Depths helps you put that right up for your next draw. Evolving Wilds, Contaminated Landscape, Path of Ancestry. This deck is almost entirely zombies. I think there's only one. I think it's almost a true tribal. I think there's only one non-zombie creature in this entire deck. And I think it's the Scarab God. Otherwise, I think the entire creature list in here, all 28 creatures, are all zombies. Cavern of Souls goes back to the Path of Ancestry, like we're saying with the creature type zombies. Gloomlake Verge, Irrigated Farmland, Secluded Courtyard, Shadowy Backstreet, Surveil Land. Again, I kind of like the Surveil Lands. The land base in here could be a little bit updated. There are 1, 2, 3 so far, 4, 5 tapped lands. So I guess the land base could be worked on. But I think sharing this now, even with the land base needing a little bit of TLC, I think once you see kind of what the deck does, the creatures, the way that it's trying to win the game, the different ways it can win the game, I think you'll understand that the lands, that's something that can be fixed. Godless Shrine, Galaxy Foil from Edges of Eternity. Mistraz Village, thinking about taking this out. I don't really find myself ever using its tap ability to for the next spell not to be countered. Maybe that comes into play in later games that go a little bit longer, but I haven't really used it. Sunken Hollow, Deserted Beach, Caves of Koleos, Edikar Wastes, and Morphic Fool. So that rounds up the 33 lands in the deck. I suppose we can just get started. We'll get started with some of the smaller piles, I guess. So we'll go to the artifacts first. There are 5 artifacts in this deck. Commander Sphere. This is one of the Judge promos. Soul Ring. Arcane Signet, your typical mana rocks. Ashnod's Altar and Phyrexian Altar. So these 2 are in here. We need sacrifice outlets. This deck contains, win conditions involving kind of pinging your opponents to death by removing zombies. There's the Gravecrawler loop where, you have a zombie out, you sack it to the Phyrexian Altar, and it just keeps bringing the Gravecrawler. It's Gravecrawler, right? Am I thinking of the right one? Hold on. It's Gravecrawler, and then there's, it's Gravecrawler, because then there's also Cryptbreaker. So no, it's Gravecrawler, so I was right. So you continuously loop Gravecrawler, in and out using the Phyrexian Altar to create 1 black mana and sacking it over and over again. Gives you the opportunity to have something like Champion of the Perished out, where you just keep entering it, killing it, sacking it, entering it, sacking it, making him infinity sized. Or having like Corpse Knight or something, but we'll kind of get into those win cons a little bit later, but just kind of an idea of what's going on there. And then Ashnod Altar, again, just another sacrifice outlet. If you're having a hard time finding your Phyrexian Altar, you can go ahead and create yourself a bunch of colorless mana. Maybe it helps you with casting another creature or something. So we'll move on to our sorceries. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sorceries. So we got Farewell. Great board wipe. Somebody's got some oppressive enchantments, or you have graveyard hate you need to give out because there's say your graveyard's empty, and before you exile all graveyards, maybe you utilize Varina or another zombie's ability to create some tokens, and then you get rid of all the graveyards or artifacts or creatures, whatever. Farewell is a classic board wipe. Solve the Equation, tutor for an instant or sorcery, 2 blue. Profane Tutor, suspend 2 for 1 of the black, search your library for a card, put it in your hand and shuffle. So I put this in here because I was trying to keep this deck at a bracket 3. I want to be able to take this without having to do any changes, take it to my LGS for Friday Night Magic, where it's bracket 3 only, or bracket 3 or lower. So Profane Tutor in there simply for that. Dread Summon, X black black, sorcery. Each player mills X cards. For each creature card put into a graveyard this way, you create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token. Noctis Death Magic or Dam. Destroy target creature. Can't be destroyed, or a creature destroyed this way can't be regenerated, or you can overload it to destroy all creatures. Diabolic Intent. Again, this is in here simply to try to avoid, making it a higher bracket, although I did put a Teferi's Protection in here, so this is technically a bracket 4, but simply removing one of the game changers will put it to a bracket 3. And Diabolic Intent, 1 of the black, sack a creature as an additional cost, search your library for a card, put it in your hand, and shuffle. And then Army of the Damned, 5 black, black, black to put 13 2/2 black zombie creature tokens on the battlefield tapped. You can also flash this back for 7 black, black, black. Not only are you making an astronomical amount of zombies, but you could also have, Champion of the Perished out, something to, pump up your zombies even more based on how many that you have on the board. Go to our instance now. In our instance, we're looking at 13 interaction in our package here. So you get your standard negate, target non-creature spell, counterspell, target counterspell, game changer with fierce guardianship. So some free interaction if you have your commander on the board, which Varina is one where this deck could win without even playing her. Depending on the route and the cards you're drawing and the way the game is going, you could very well keep her in the command zone for the entire time and win the game. So just a note, she's a big part of getting to what you want to get with the card draw she offers, but I would say she's not required. She's not completely, the deck isn't completely dependent upon getting Varina out on the board and protecting her. There are plenty of other opportunities you have with this deck. Not free, can't refuse, permission denied, Enlightened Tutor, again, another game changer. Enlightened Tutor is one that I would definitely not take out when I do want to play this down at my local LGS for Friday Night Magic, because if you're struggling to find your Phyrexian Altar to kind of continue to find those pieces for your win condition, Enlightened Tutor is going to let you search for an artifact, an enchantment, or an enchantment card, and it's only for a white. It's not like Diabolic Intent where you get to sack it. It's not like, what's the other one? Profane Tutor, where you get to suspend it for 2 turns. Boom, you're going and fetching what you need. Despark, destroy, exile target permanent with mana value 4 or greater. For a white and a black, that's pretty great. Limdual's Vault. So I'm not sure. This is an older card. I don't know if a lot of people play this. I like it. A lot of people I've talked to think it's kind of trash, but I always find a place for it with this one and another card of similar. So Limdual's Vault is blue-black. Instant, it states, look at the top 5 cards of your library. As many times as you choose, you may pay 1 life, put those cards on bottom of your library in any order, then look at the top 5 cards of your library. Then shuffle your library and put the last card you looked at on top in any order. So basically, you get to look at the top 5 cards of your library, put them in any order. If you don't like it, put them on the bottom, look at the top 5. If you like that, you pay 1 life. If you like that, shuffle your library, put your library down, those 5 cards that you took, put them back on top in any order. So you get to basically control your next 5 card draws. I think it has a lot of value. I like it. I literally found this card just looking through old binders at D&D's in Auburn, and I scooped it up. I think it was like I don't know, change. What is it? What's at $5 now? I feel like I didn't pay $5 for it, but is that the same? Yeah, Commander 2013. Definitely don't think I paid $5 for it, but I enjoy that card anyway. So Brainstorm, for a blue, draw 3 cards, put 2 on from your hand on top of your library in any order. Swords to Plowshare, classic exile, target creature, its controller gains life equal to its power. Dovin's Veto, white blue, the spell can't be countered, counter target non-creature spell. Teferi's Protection, so 2 and a white until your next turn. Your life total can't change, and you gain protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out exile after you cast it. Then lastly, Flare of Denial, 1 blue, but we're looking for its alternate casting cost. You may sacrifice a non-token blue creature rather than pay the spell's mana cost to counter target spell. So 13 pieces of interaction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces counter. So 7 counters in there. Move on to the enchantments. This deck does have a heavier amount of enchantments. If you've looked at any of my deck lists previously, you'll notice that I'm always light on enchantments. Let's see, just out of curiosity, if this is the truth or if I'm just bullshitting. 8 enchantments in Kalia, which you guys haven't heard my Kalia deck. I haven't shared it because I'm still working on it. Not at a point where I feel like I want to share it yet. Nekusar is running 5. Lord of the Nazgul is running 1. Muldrotha might have a few more because it's looking for permanents. It's only got 6 in Muldrotha. And then my wife's Dragon deck, which I definitely haven't shared because that is nowhere near, I would say, the same level as any of these decks. She's a very casual player. She just plays for fun with myself and my friend and his girlfriend. She's by no means a competitive Magic player. She's won a couple games, which is really cool. She's actually made some really great plays and played very well. But she's not in any competitive way. But her Dragon deck runs 9 enchantments, so I guess kind of average, but average amount of enchantments anyway. I don't have any decks that require enchantments to really. It's not an enchantment-based deck. I don't have any enchantment-based decks, but anyway. So moving on to enchantments. 13 enchantments in here. Dictate of Ebros, 3 black for an enchantment with flash. It says whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. So again, we have those sack outlets. Let's say somebody's board is getting gross. You only have Dictate of Ebros available. You have a sack outlet. Sack your creatures, get rid of their creatures. And it doesn't state anything either about it being a non-token creature. So you can sack those tokens. You can generate a couple tokens to sack to kind of help get rid of someone's board state, and take care of what you need to do and swing big. Or that's also part of this deck is if you're not fetching any of your other win conditions by timming out the table, you're just going to go wide and you're going to swing big with as many zombies as you can. Phyrexian Arena, 1 black, beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card, lose 1 life, helps with card draw. Endless Ranks of the Dead, 2 black for an enchantment that says at the beginning of your upkeep, create X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens, where X is half the number of zombies you control rounded down. So continue to increase your number of zombies every single of your upkeeps. Kindred Discovery, 3 blue for an enchantment. When it enters, choose a creature type. You're going to choose zombies. Whenever a creature you control of chosen type enters the battlefield or attacks, you draw a card. Big push and help with card draw. Rooftop Storm, as we know, 5 and a blue. It's an enchantment that says you may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for zombie creature spells you cast. So cast this. You've drawn a bunch of cards. Let's say you got Reliquary Tower out. you don't have any hand, you have unlimited hand size, cast Rooftop Storm, and then barf a bunch of zombies on the board. A little bit of yummy stacks here. We got Blind Obedience, 1 and a white for an enchantment. Artifacts and creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. It also has the Extort ability. But just, it's basically Authority of Consuls kind of with a twist of also adding artifacts. So those mana rocks that somebody's pulling, or those even treasure tokens that are coming up on the board, those are coming in tapped. You get a way to turn to use them. Darksteel Mutation, so another piece of, another piece here. 1 in the white to enchant creature. Enchanted creature is an insect artifact creature with base power and toughness 0/1, and has indestructible, and it loses all other types, card type, or all other abilities, card types, and creature types. So lock down somebody's commander. Now their commander has enchantment, or has this enchantment, and is an insect artifact creature with indestructible that they can only exile to get rid of it and get their commander back. So really gross. Your friends will love you. Yeah. So this Anointed Procession, I know it's in another language, but I pulled this out of a random Amonkhet set that I got actually at a Walmart. I bought one of those Walmart boxes, the Chaos boxes, and I pulled the value of the the $27 value in one card. I actually did pretty well with that Chaos box. I think I pulled a couple other like $8, $9, $10 cards out of it, but this was the biggest one. So Anointed Procession, it states if an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many of those tokens instead. So token doubler. Ristic, obviously not the game changer, as we know. 2 and a blue. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, you can draw a card. You may draw a card unless the opponent plays the 1. Witness Protection for a blue enchant creature. Again, another fun piece to piss off your friends or opponents. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a green and white citizen creature with base power and toughness 1/1 named Legitimate Business Person. I guess they wanted to be PC, didn't want to do businessman or businesswoman, it was business person. So anyway, another piece to kind of, your opponent has a big nasty commander out, or another piece of stacks or something that you don't want to have to deal with. You don't have any removal, but let's hit them with the Witness Protection. Turn them into a legitimate business person. They lose all their abilities. Mystic Remora, cast Fish for a blue. Cumulative upkeep of 1, and whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, you may draw a card unless the opponent pays 4. I don't know of anybody who's going to pay the 4. Necro Duality for 3 and a blue. Whenever a non-token zombie enters, or you control enters, create a token that's a copy of it. Creating copies of zombies, going wide. That was originally when I bought this precon. This was like one of the first cards I added to it. When I heard there was a zombie copying card, I was like, oh my god, yes, let's go. So, it's you can't have, but remember, your legendary copy does hit the battlefield and then it dies. As far as I know, you do get the if there is, it does die, so you do get the death trigger as well, as far as I know. Again, I've only been playing Magic again for the past year now, so if I'm wrong, somebody please feel free to correct me in the comments and let me know that I'm wrong. And then Great Pact, 1 black, black, black. Whenever a creature you control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature, so another Dictate of Ebros, except it's 1 mana less, but 1 additional black pip to pay for it. Doesn't also have flash. This has flash, so if somebody, attacks you and you have this and you want to flash it in and make them sack all their creatures, let's say they won't, be able to kill, you won't be able to kill them, but they kill all your zombies. Oh, well, surprise, Dictate of Ebros, my zombies die, now your creatures, you need to sacrifice them. Alright, take a drink of water here. And lastly, the big shebang for the zombies here. So as I said before, there are 28 creatures in this stack here. First to start, Wayward Servant. So again, this Wayward Servant, any zombie that whenever a zombie enters or dies and your opponents lose life, those are part of the conditions of the deck to win. So your Wayward Servant, what's the other one that looks like that? I just had it. Your Corpse Knight, which says whenever another creature you control enters, each opponent loses 1 life. We'll go through it again. I can't remember if there are any others that deal damage when entering or when entering or dying. That might be it. But so yeah. So Wayward Servant and Corpse Knight both are a white and a black. Wayward Servant is a zombie 2/2. Whenever another zombie you control enters, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Corpse Knight is a zombie knight 2/2. Whenever another creature you control enters, each opponent loses 1 life. So we'll kind of go over the win conditions at the end here and how that works. We'll set the Wayward Servant to the side. Carrion Feeder for a black zombie 1/1. Can't block. Sack a creature, put a 1/1 +1/+1 counter on Carrion Feeder. Midnight Reaper, 2 and a black. For a 3/2 zombie knight, whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Midnight Reaper deals 1 damage to you and you draw a card. So another good outlet to draw cards. Let's say you have your grave or your grave crawler, you have a sack outlet, but you're not finding your Wayward Servant or your Corpse Knight. Okay, that's fine. I got some life to spare. Let's just keep sacking and bringing it back and drawing in a card, taking 1 life, and hope that in 15 or 20 card draws you'll find one of these or another way to kind of finish the game out. So Midnight Reaper does have a purpose. Even though it does ping you for damage, it can be used. Gravecrawler for a black. This creature can't block. You may cast this card from your graveyard as long as you control a zombie. It's a 2/1 zombie. This is probably the last card I have in the deck. Oh no, I got a couple. These 3 are all from the pre-con when it originally came out. So we're going to keep Gravecrawler over here because it goes hand in hand with the win condition, one of the win conditions in the deck. Lost Monarch of Ifnir, 3 and a black for a 4/4 zombie noble with Afflict 3. For those of you that don't know what Afflict is, whenever this creature becomes blocked, defending player loses 3 life. Other zombies you control have Afflict 3. That's gross, so go ahead and block while I'm swinging wide at you with all these zombies that have Afflict 3. You can block them, but each time you block, you're taking 3 damage. Then it states, at the beginning of your second main phase, if a player was dealt combat damage by a zombie this turn, mill 3 cards, then you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So not just from the 3 milled cards, but from your entire graveyard. So let's say you've been dishing off some, you attack, you have Varina on the board, draw a bunch of cards. I want this, you got a couple zombies that you want, put them in your graveyard. If combat damage is dealt, Lost Monarch of Ifnir. Now that triggers mill 3. Now you can bring one of those zombies back to your hand. Scarab God. Again, I think this is the only non-zombie creature in the entire deck. And this is another potential way to win the game. So 3 blue-black for the Scarab God for a legendary god creature. At the beginning, it's 5/5, sorry. Again, another one from Aether Drift. I forgot that I had that in the Aether Drift deck. But the Scarab God says, at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life, and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. So passively, just going through your upkeep, you have a wide board. You're passively dealing damage to your opponents. It also states for 2 blue and a black, exile target creature card from a graveyard. from a graveyard. You can create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. And then it states when the Scarab God dies, return it to the owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. So gross. Not just from your graveyard, but from a graveyard. Your opponent, the creature dies. Oh, 2 blue black, I'm going to exile that, and now it's a 4/4 zombie of mine, and that's gone from the board. Lord of the Accursed, 2 and a black for a 2/3 zombie. Oh, another Aether Drift. I thought I took more Aether Drift cards out, but I guess I still have quite a few Aether Drift cards in here from the pre-con. Huh. Anyway, Lord of the Accursed, 2/3 zombie for 2 and a black. Other zombies you control get +1/+1. This ability here has actually won me a game that I thought I was going to lose. Tap 1 and a black and tap Lord of the Accursed. All zombies gain menace until end of turn. That saved me one time I was playing. I think I had 4 creatures. My opponent had maybe 2. Or had 4 in Lord of the Accursed. Tap the 1 in the black and tap Lord of the Accursed. Gave them menace. They could only block 1 zombie, and that was the game. Pardon my pronunciation, but Radadrabic of Urborg, 2 white black for a legendary zombie wizard, 3/3 with vigilance and ward 2. Gives other zombies you control have vigilance, and whenever another legendary creature you control dies, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's not legendary, and it's a 2/2 black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. Cryptbreaker for a black. It's a 1/1 zombie. 1 in the black. Tap it to discard a card, and you can create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Tap 3, untap zombies you control, draw a card, and lose a life. So again, you get a wide board. You're looking for cards. Tap 3, untap zombies, draw a card, lose life. Definitely a legitimate payoff because it doesn't state non-token zombies. It's zombies in general, so your tokens will count. Wilhelt the Rock Cleaver, 2 blue black for a legendary zombie warrior, 3/3 that says whenever another zombie you control dies, if it didn't have Decayed, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. Decayed is that it can't block. When it attacks, you sack it at the end of combat. At the beginning of your end step, you may sack a zombie. If you do, draw a card. So again, you create, let's say you attack. One of your zombies dies. If it didn't have Decayed, it comes back with Decayed. Then at the beginning of your end step, you can sack it to draw a card. Headless Rider, 2 and a black for a 3/1 zombie that states whenever Headless Rider or another non-token zombie you control dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. We got Grim next for 3 blue and a black. Grim Corpseborn enters the battlefield tapped and does not untap during your untap step. Sack another creature, untap Grim, put a +1/+1 counter on him. Whenever he attacks, destroy target creature defending player controls, then put another +1/+1 counter on Grim. So Grim becomes a sack outlet to help with, if you have one of these guys out, or to untap him. But also he gets big. He can get big quick, and when he attacks, his attack trigger will trigger first, destroy target creature. Then blocking will be assigned. Death Baron, 1 black for a 2/2 zombie wizard. Skeletons you control and other zombies you control get +1/+1 and have death touch. Yum. Cemetery Reaper, 1 black for a 2/2 zombie. Other zombies you control get +1/+1. You may tap 2 and a black to tap it. Exile target creature card from a graveyard. Create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So again, some more graveyard hate. Get rid of those good creatures that are chilling in your opponent's graveyard. Reanimate? No, I don't think so. I'm going to exile that. Sorry. Champion of the Parish for a black. Black 1/1 zombie. Whenever another zombie enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So again, this can kind of go into the win conditions type area, because you could just sit there, sack Gravecrawler to your Phyrexian altar, and each time it enters, put a +1/+1 and just do that forever. Make them, 4,269, 2,469, and swing with it. Plague Belcher, 2 and a black for a 5/4 zombie beast with menace. When this creature enters, you put 2 -1/-1 counters on target creature you control. Whenever another zombie you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. So again, Plague Belcher can go in with this because he can be a part of the win condition involving opponents losing life when your zombies die. Ret 2 Mystic, 1 in the blue for a 2/1 zombie bird wizard with flying. This also allows for each creature card in your hand to have cycling 1 blue. Blade Stitched Scab for a blue and a black for a 2/3 zombie soldier. Other zombies you control get +1/+0. Zol Ashur Lich Lord, 1 and a black for a 2/2 legendary creature zombie warlock with ward pay 2 life. Tap it and you may cast target zombie creature card from your graveyard this turn. So again, helping with some of that discard. You have some discard with Varina. Your zombie dies and you want him back on the board. Oh, cool, I got Zerl Ashur. I'll tap him and pay the mana cost to bring the zombie back from the graveyard. Moving into Zombie Master, 1 in black for a 2/3 zombie. Other zombie creatures have Swamp Walk. Gross. Other zombies have tap a black, regenerate this permanent, giving your other zombies Swamp Walk. With how many people play black, at least in some of their decks, that can make a huge difference in a game. We got God Eternal Oketra. I know I'm butchering some of these names and I'm sorry. For 3 white for a 3/6 zombie god with double strike. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 4/4 black zombie warrior creature token with vigilance. Whenever it dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, you may put it on top of its owner's library, 3rd from the top. Hordewing Scab, 4 and a blue for a 3/3 zombie horror with flying, which also gives your other zombies flying. So now that the dead is, coming back to life, Hordewing Scab will give it flying. That's great for them. It also states whenever 1 or more zombies you control deal combat damage to 1 or more of your opponents, you may draw cards equal to the number of opponents dealt damage this way. If you do, discard that many cards. So a little bit more card draw. We have Lord of the Undead, 1 black or Centurion of the Mark. So it's from the Fallout. I'm a big Fallout fan, so it's 2/2 zombie. Other zombie creatures get +1/+1. So again, not just your zombies with Lord of the Undead, but other zombie creatures in general. You can also tap 1 black and tap the Lord of the Undead to return target zombie card from your graveyard to your hand. Graveborn Muse, 2 black for a zombie spirit, or a 3/3 zombie spirit that says at the beginning of your upkeep you may draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the number of zombies you control. So even if she's the only zombie you have on the board, somehow out of the 28 zombies you've only drawn her, you still get to draw an additional card and lose 1 life. Diregraph Colossus for 2 and a black for a 2/2 zombie giant. It enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each zombie card in your graveyard. And then whenever you cast a zombie spell, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Tapped. Relentless Dead, black for a 2/2 zombie with menace. When it dies, you may pay a black. If you do, return it to its owner's hand. Also, when it dies, you may pay X. If you do, return another zombie creature card with converted mana cost X from your graveyard to the battlefield. And then lastly, Grim Servant for 3 and a black for a 3/2 zombie warlock with menace that states when Grim Servant enters the battlefield, search your library for a card with mana value less than or equal to your devotion to black, reveal it and put it in your hand and shuffle. You lose 3 life. So basically an ETB to tutor for something that is your equal to your devotion to black. I don't know if you noticed, but I think in this entire creature package, there are, what, 3 creatures that don't have any black. Obviously the other permanents aren't as black heavy, but yeah, for the most part, your creatures, they're mostly mono black or have black in them, a black pip in them. So yeah, so basically, as I said, the kind of the purpose with this deck, the way I built it, is you can either go wide to win, make a bunch of zombies, make a bunch of tokens, double them with anointed, go bigly. You get a bunch of +1/+1 counters on your zombies from your Lord of the Undead, your Blade Stitched, your Cemetery Reaper, your Death Baron. You continue to make all these zombie tokens and swing wide, or you have your Champion of the Perished with your Phyrexian Altar. You sack your Gravecrawler, keep sacking it, getting a black mana, sacking it, just pumping up your Champion of the Perished, and then swinging with a infinite Champion of the Perished. Or you have to have a zombie on the board, sacking, and each time it enters, it deals 1 damage to your opponent and you gain 1 life. And you just do that until the entire table's dead. Or your Corpse Knight, each time another creature enters under your you control, so each time you sack it, it enters, you ping the table until everybody's dead. Feel like I'm forgetting another way I kind of thought of to win the game in here, but I think that was pretty much, for the most part, the way to go was, either going wide, pumping up Champion of the Perished, or sacking Gravecrawler over and over again to bring the table to 0. But that's pretty much it. That is my zombie deck for Varina Lich Queen. Please feel free to leave any questions or comments in the comment section. If anybody reads this or watches this, not reads, if anybody watches this. But I hope everybody had a great Christmas. I had a fantastic Christmas. I got a beautiful Grand Prix promo Chrome Mox from Santa, as well as a Tempest Ancient Tomb. Santa would be my wife. She's incredible. She actually got me tickets to go to the New England Patriots game on next weekend, which I'm extremely excited about. So yeah, actually the Teferi's Protection that I showed earlier in the instance, I pulled that from an Avatar Collector booster that she got me, which also had a Redirect Lightning in it for the alternate art foil, or the extended art foil, whatever they call it. I never know what they call those, but thank you very much. If you like the video, shoot it a like. If you want some more of these deck techs, it takes me a long time to make decks, but my plan is to do the Morkant from Lorwyn when it comes out. That'll probably be my next deck that I'll fully build, but I'll try to get Kalia to you guys here soon. So thank you very much for watching, and hope everybody had a great holiday, and I'll talk to you later.